everybody, Movie Fan Z here. So, the movie I'm going to be reviewing for you is the 2024 Netflix documentary, The Greatest Night in Pop. So, just to start off with, I've seen the video for We Are the World multiple times. And when I found out that they were going to be making a documentary of what happened behind the scenes, I got intrigued. And then when I saw the trailer, it got me more intrigued. So, this movie is directed by Bao Niang, who has done documentaries in the past. Nguyen did Live from New York, which was the Saturday Night Live documentary in 2015. And in 2020 did Be Water, which was the Bruce Lee documentary, which was another good documentary. So, basically, in a nutshell, this tells the story of what happened when putting together the great song We Are the World, which was to help spread the message of aid for famine in Ethiopia. And unlike your typical documentary, this one featured interviews with some of the artists involved, like Lionel Richie, Cyndi Lauper, Bruce Springsteen, along with some of the behind the scenes people in terms of doing like the orchestration and the lighting and the camera work. So let's get into this. So the first thing I really like about this is the documentary style. So rather than being a typical documentary, which just tells the story, which could have been okay on its own, I liked this documentary style because you got the people interviewed, which in my opinion works because you get to hear the emotions and the experiences of the people involved, especially Lionel Richie, who had a big part in assembling all of the people for this song. I also liked that with the interviews, you also get not just the artist, but you get like some of the behind the scenes people as well, because they got to experience that as this also. Another thing I liked is that you get to really be invested in all that went on. What I mean by that is there is so many different things that made this a pressure situation. And you're along for how they dealt with all of these. Those situations included getting as many people as they could in the room and basically controlling the egos of all of these top artists of the time. Along with that is filming it and doing it all in one night, because you're not going to come do more of it the next day. And kind of with that, you did this, I believe, on January 25th, 1985. Just hours before they did the song, Lionel Richie was hosting the American Music Awards. And he was the one that kind of put We Are the World together. So it's a big process of trying to get everybody involved. And kind of along with that, trying to figure out like who does the solos, because you kind of want a contrast of voices that work well together. And again, I don't really have any negatives in this movie. The one disappointing aspect is that you don't get to have certain people on camera giving their experiences. The biggest one being Michael Jackson, because he was another big aspect of this taking place, and sadly, you don't get to hear what he really thought of this experience. But that's the only like disappointing thing that I found in this movie. Now, basically to wrap it up, I am basically considered a 90s kid because I grew up in September of 1989. So I didn't really get to experience the 80s. But I will say that the 80s is my favorite decade of music. So getting to see all these personalities together made for a great watch. And if you're into 80s pop, or if you're just into music in general, or just the song, I would recommend for you to check this out, because you definitely get to see a different side of this in terms of all that went through to put this together. So, if you enjoy reviews like this, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. As far as a rating, it's not a perfect one, but it's very close. I'm going a 4.5 out of 5. But that is my review for 2024's Netflix documentary, The Greatest Night in Pop. Come back next time for another review. This is Movie Frenzy signing off. Have a good night.